So welcome to the Association for Short-Term Rental Homeowners. My name is Heather Richer. I'm the Astrho board president, and I've been in the lodging industry my entire career, really fully focused on short-term and vacation rental the last 3 years. And in this next hour, we hope to do a few things. Obviously, welcome you, and thank you so much for being here. We want to tell you about our story, the team that came together to build Astrho. We also want to talk a little bit about what is happening in our industry. To Alexander's question, there's so much going on. This is our time, and with Astrho, we hope to, our big purpose, we want to talk about that and our goals of advancing short-term and vacation rental and the overall lodging industry. I mean, all eyes are on us, and there's opportunity that we've never had before. So it is a very exciting time. Then we're going to kind of go into part 2, where we talk about some of our members and share some member spotlights, and then also our corporate members and corporate sponsors and other friends and collaborators that have helped us get to where we are today, but are also committing to us to support education and professional development for the association. Before we dive in, I do just want to be clear. As an association, typically those are kind of one of two things: a trade organization or a professional society. And the trade associations do focus on regulatory affairs, kind of take the leading role in lobbying. I just want to say up front, we are a professional society. Our core goal is education. So the way we'll work with those leading regulatory efforts, we want to make sure to get information from them so we can educate our members and our community on opportunities to get involved and educate them on the different points of view. But we are not here to take a point of view. We want to help our members get information so they can make decisions on their own. And then obviously working closely with all of those different types of organizations focused on regulatory to move the industry forward. At the end of the day, we all share that goal. So this is us. You'll see myself, Lauren, and Heidi on the screen here throughout today. But Carrie and Larry are round out our team of 5. And you can see our titles there, kind of in our roles that we play in the organization. And maybe I'll just stop here too for a second. Combined, we have over 50 years of lodging hospitality experience, from running our own vacation rental or short-term rental to working for global hospitality brands. And we have, undergrad and graduate degrees in tourism and hospitality kind of among us as well. So we bring a strong industry perspective, but also an understanding of the entrepreneurship and small business owner aspects to homeowners in the short-term rental space. All right, Lauren, I'm going to hand it over to you to tell our story once upon a time.
Sounds good. So as we all know, back in March, there was a huge shakeup across the travel industry. I mean, travel really came to a screeching halt. Businesses and people that relied on income from travelers were not put in the best position, to say it gently. Not only because the revenue stopped coming in, but because we all needed to refund these travelers who could no longer travel due to the restrictions or because they didn't feel comfortable. And this all happened in what felt like, days. The impacts were tremendous and they were pretty instant. So I, along with many others in the industry, was put in a position where I was looking for new opportunities, maybe even outside of travel altogether. So there I was doing puzzles and drinking wine and listening to true crime podcasts and trying to figure out what my next move was. And so that's when, Heather called. She was calling to check in on me, see how I was doing, and just talk about kind of what was going on in the industry as a whole. We were talking about how all these channels were just refunding guests, questions asked, talking about just other major news that was happening in the industry. And then, talking about these conversations that were happening between homeowners and Facebook groups. I follow these Facebook groups for hosts and short-term rental owners. And so we were talking about those, and Heather also asked me, had I talked to anyone else in the industry recently? And I had actually talked to Heidi that same week. And Heidi and I all worked really closely together. And Heidi had relationships with all these individual homeowners who were directly impacted. And so the combination of talking about Heidi and then talking about, what was going on in the industry and these conversations that owners were having, we had kind of this just explosion of an idea. And we realized there was really no professional organization for these owners to turn to. And that maybe there was something that the three of us could do together. And maybe we didn't even have to leave the travel industry. Maybe there was something of real value that we could bring to it. And so I think that conversation with Heather happened on a Saturday, and by that Monday we were on the phone with Heidi, the three of us, and it was an absolute no-brainer. We did feel like we could create something really powerful and meaningful for the industry that we loved, and a real resource for homeowners. So not only were we going to bring these homeowners together, but we would bring in industry leaders and experts to assist in providing real guidance, education, and resources for hosts and short-term rental homeowners. And that was kind of the inspiration for Astrho. So.
I think it's really cool to share too that we, on our second call, we had the acronym sorted out, and while we were talking through trying to find our domain, Lauren's in the background designing the logo, and it flowed like it was meant to be. It worked out. So that was a fun part of the team.
Yeah, that's a good nugget. So we move things along, and we're a 501c6, not for profit, and we actually got to a point where the tax. None of us have ever obviously started an association before. It's not something you really do every day, and the tax and accounting aspects are, just have different requirements. So it started to get a little tricky and a little over my head. And of course, out of the blue, I get a call from Carrie and Larry, who, I've worked with 5+ years ago, just checking to see how I was doing. And they literally brought the missing tax, financial, accounting experience that we were missing, and ultimately rounded out our team so we could keep going. And that was pretty cool, right? Serendipitous and meant to be. And here we are. We are live, and we couldn't be more thrilled to be here with all of you and really making this thing a reality. So we're going to shift gears. So that's our story. That's how we arrived here. But there's 3 trends we're really keeping our eye on as we develop the roadmap forward. What do we do as an industry? And Alexander's question, could not have been more spot on, right? Looking ahead, what are the challenges into 2020? So this is how we've broken down kind of our view of the world, these 3 buckets. We know that 50% of all homes are self-managed, and that there is new technology every day that's coming on board to make self-managing easier, more profitable, and empowering operational success. So gone are the days of, manual processing. And another thing that's kind of lending to this continuing is that, interest rates are at an all-time low. So there are more folks able to get in the game of second home ownership. And today we think about the market size as 10 million homeowners globally. And I've seen some other stats on this. I think this number is even debated. There's actually more than this. And it's just something to watch, right? It's becoming easier, and it's something that, as we go through this, you'll see is going to be more possible for folks than ever before. That's one trend. Going clockwise here, increasing brand opportunities. The reason we talk about this one is, I'll just read this: new or legacy brands entering the segment. Branding in short-term and vacation rental has been around, but even today, it's not really clear and upfront when you're purchasing through an OTA. But here enters Marriott Homes and Villas, and Marriott Homes and Villas, they don't own these homes. At the end of the line, there's a homeowner. And though this branding collection trend may continue, there will likely be a homeowner at the end of it all, and the homeowner is still responsible for their insurance. The homeowner still wants to understand who they've hired to do this, what is their distribution channel opportunity. And so this is just something else we're watching. And then the last trend is obviously the consumer demand. So vacations, the digital nomad trend, and then with social distancing as a critical factor, is causing customers who never thought to stay at short-term or vacation rental before to look towards this type of accommodation. And then the stat here, year over year, May and June, US vacation rental bookings were up 20%, according to AirDNA. So all of these things combined, again, just going back to, it's really this unique time that's exciting. There's innovation happening, and there's demand for this product. So we're just excited to be a part of it. Okay, I'll keep moving. So education being our core mission, we had VRBO, we've been talking to them, we participated in Partner Week, and unfortunately they weren't able to join us here for the live event, but we did want to talk about what we did with this partner. So VRBO had Partner Week, our team attended some sessions, and then we worked to bring this back into snackable content for Astrho members. And this was a great example of a few comments and dialogue we had around cancel policy. And we took the information, we used it as education in our community and had some really great dialogue. So these are ways, we'll talk more about other partnerships we're working on to bring education into the community. And then we also have partnerships in information, right? And there's so much happening in the space, it's hard to keep up. So we actually have Amy Highnote here. For those of you that don't know Amy, hopefully she can come off mute and we can see her. We want to bring her on screen. Amy, as you can see, since 2012 has been involved with VRM Intel and providing information to the vacation rental management community. But Amy also wants to support the homeowner in short-term and vacation rental. So Amy, I'll hand it over to you.
I don't know if you can see me, but but anyway, at least you can hear me, right?
We can hear you for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for having me on. I just want to congratulate all of you for joining and for putting this together. We've needed it for a really long time, and we've seen a couple of attempts at trying to put together an owners association that haven't come with the same dedication that I think that you guys are bringing to it. So I'm very excited about this. Before this, where homeowners get together is at Airbnb's community or Vrbo's community or Facebook groups that can kind of get toxic sometimes. So it's like to have this professional organization, I think can really elevate the industry, and I'm really excited about it. At VRM Intel, what we do is we provide news and conferences for the professionally managed vacation rental industry. And so we're hoping to do the same type thing with Second Home HQ. It's new. We're in the early phases of launching this site, but it is secondhomehq.com. What we'll be writing about is about the new stuff that, quite honestly, these guys can't really say without making some of their partners angry. So we're that voice. We're that people. We're those people. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, Heather.
No, we love that, right? Where our goal is to be neutral and provide information. You'll be able to bring those thought-provoking points of view. That will be great.
We also have a magazine, VRM Intel magazine, and we're thinking about doing that on the homeowner side too. So we're looking at that. One of the things that you mentioned about the challenges coming up, managing OTAs like e-commerce, those are true merchandising opportunities, and that's really hard to learn how to do when all the information is actually coming from Airbnb or Vrbo. You know what I mean? So learning those kind of things for you guys, I think, is going to be super helpful. And also, I think this year in particular, we've seen guests who are super stressed. And so like they're kind of acting out in terms of what they're asking for and what the reviews are looking like and kind of what their feedback is. So managing that is kind of a new challenge that we have right now. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that from you guys. But I couldn't be more excited about what you're doing. Heather's just a superstar, and I will support anything she does across the board. But this is really exciting.
No, thanks, Amy. And I think it is, we need to have these efforts across the board, and Second Home is stepping in to fill that gap that we need. So yeah, looking forward to the journey here and what we're going to be able to do. Thanks, Amy. Anything else for the group before we move on? All right. We'll keep going.
Thank you. Just want to say thank you for doing this. If there's anything that you guys need from me, I'm here. as you get going. But this is going to be a great resource for everybody.
Can you offer how folks should follow you and get involved? Should they go ahead and start with VRM Intel?
Actually, you can go to Second Home HQ now and go ahead and subscribe there, or you can go to vrmintel.com and find out how to subscribe there. They're right now they're separate. The VRM Intel is really focused on the professionally managed side, so there's a lot of information there that goes both ways, though. You know what I mean? It's still a business any way you look at it. So I mean, that's there's a lot there. I see a lot of people on this call that we partner with too, on the partner side, including Doug Kennedy, who talks a lot about customer service. And I think that so there are several articles from him on the site. There's a lot there. So we have a search function on both sites. So if you're looking for something in particular, VRM Intel goes back to 2012, and there were about 2,000 articles on the site. So it's full. There's a lot of information there. So if you can't find something on Second Home HQ, definitely try VRM Intel.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for that. All right, we're going to keep talking, keep moving forward with other partnerships and opportunities. So staying with Amy actually for a minute more here, we're just coming off of the VRM Intel Data and Revenue Management Conference. What was so great is this conference focused on revenue management and pricing and analytics, market intelligence. And this is a conference that Amy put on, was the second year of doing it. We worked with her team to provide a discounted rate for Astrho members to be able to attend the conference. And then what we'll do too is recap it, again, try to create that snackable content of the most relevant pieces of information for our homeowner community. So similar to what we did with the VRBO Partner Week, we hope to do the same thing here. And then just to spotlight a few other things, Airbnb, as Amy mentioned, provides a ton of information, and clearly it's only Airbnb, but we do want to be a partner to them to bring in educational information that they provide as well. Same with booking.com. You can see here, they have pages on their site where they talk about hosting requirements. And we have had conversations with them. We're working to figure out what that relationship should and could look like. Then another example is VRMA, Vacation Rental Managers Association. So this organization is focused on management companies that run other people's homes, right? The management hospitality companies, and they do have overlap with us too. So what we have done as an example is brought in their cleaning guideline documents, which Dirk is on the line. I know Dirk played a leading role in helping to build these. So just an example where there's a lot of crossover, and we can work with VRMA to bring that information into the Astrho community. And lastly, I'll highlight the Book Direct Show. This is another one coming up that is put on by another group of people really passionate about Book Direct. And we now have a discount available for Astrho members to attend the show, but we'll do the same thing, right? Where folks aren't able to attend, again, try to bring in the learnings and education from this show. And with that, at that high level of partnerships and education, we'll talk more about our actual digital community and offerings. So Lauren, I'll hand it over to you.
Sure. So Astrho.org, that's our public-facing website. There we're sharing, our weekly blog content, articles, other helpful resources. All of this is available to anyone who just visits our website. We also have a business directory that we're in the process of building out. So this really just organizes different service and technology providers throughout the space. So an owner can go and check out and see, hey, I need guest services and technology providers, and you can really look at all of the providers in that particular space. And then, so after the public-facing I guess what I want to say is really to engage on any of these topics. So the blogs, the articles, really talk about different service providers, or to be able to connect with these different service providers who are corporate members. You would have to become a member of our community. So the community is really a networking and resource solution. So it's really organized by topics of conversation. We have different groups and featured articles, top posts, top members, and we organize all of our upcoming events in there. And I can actually go ahead and share my screen right now and kind of do a quick walkthrough of the community. So let me share my screen. Sorry for the delay. Okay. So this is what it looks like. This is the home feed of the community. It does look somewhat similar to something you might see on social media, but what's really different and unique about this is, you can sort your personal feed so you can see, everything or just your activity from hosts or just members near you. And you can also sort by, what's popular now, what are people talking about now, what are people who are near you talking about right now, which is really unique and valuable. And then the discovery section here is all of our content just organized a little bit differently. So the welcome section will really show you how to utilize the community and how to get the most out of it for you. You can follow specific topics. We really tried to do a good job of ensuring we covered all of the most relevant topics, and we'll continue building these out and adding more as different things come up. It shows all of our featured posts, either from us or from our corporate members. Top posts, top members, all of our upcoming events and top courses. You can see a list of all of our members here. You can chat directly with a particular member. You can invite other members. In the event section, you can see that we're live in this current event right now. But I know, it's kind of cool, huh? So yeah, you can see all of these upcoming events, the Book Direct show that Heather talked about, some expert Q&As that we're having with some of our, corporate members and just partners. And then the courses, I'm actually going to go ahead and let Heather talk about the courses.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So what we're working to build are 1 week power courses that are free to members. And though the 5 of us bring, unique different skill sets and expertise, our goal is that for every course, we put together an education committee of other experts in the industry that can inform what should be the course material, so that in a 1 week time period, you're getting, an overview of the topic. So the first class we decided to do was how to price. This is my personal area of expertise and background in revenue management and distribution as well. And we also found in talking to homeowners that this was a hot topic. And how to price has changed in the last few years with technology and automation. So let's go ahead and click on the class overview, actually. We can go into course material. That'd be great, Lauren, if you want to do that. And then, activity feed. And go ahead and click into that first featured course schedule. There we go. So as you can see, this Thursday, actually, we start this class. It's a 1 hour recorded lesson, so you can watch it anytime. Then throughout the weekend, you can chat with classmates. You're in the virtual classroom, so watch the actual course at any time. Then you can see a few days later, we actually do another live event where we're doing Q&A with another expert and bringing additional content in to the course. Then we top it off with office hours, where there's another chance to have live interaction and dialogue together, just in a format like this, where we can see each other and chat with each other. And the course itself, we may give an extra week to continue talking to your classmates. But our goal is that we're doing several of these a quarter, working to bring committees of people together. So of course we want experts. The next class we're working on is investment and financial success. So we're working to bring that committee together, but we're also looking to our homeowners to get involved if they want to join some of these committees and inform, what's important to them. And maybe they have a personal experience that we can bring and share with others. So that's a quick overview of 1 week power courses. Then the next one is Tech Toolbox, as you can see here, scheduled for October. And that's where we'll review both marketing and operations and just talk about not necessarily deep diving on individual technology providers, but the concepts of building your tech toolbox and automation that's a best fit for you. Okay, thanks, Lauren.
Sure. There was one thing I forgot to touch
Yeah.
on. So, in the topic section, you can follow a particular topic that's of interest to you. So, for example, how to market your property online. This is where all of the articles, all of the polls, all of the questions and engagement around this particular topic is happening. And then one specifically that I wanted to call out is the member perks and benefits. And so in this topic, we really break down all of our corporate partners, the offers that they're providing or value that they're providing for our members and how to redeem that value. So you can see all of that in this section here. And I believe that is all I wanted to cover. Did I miss anything, Heather or Heidi?
I think it's worth mentioning that as our corporate members, when they're joined, they actually have a free or included membership community access. So you can log in and you can interact with everybody if they have questions about your area of specialties, if they want to look more into your product. That's really what we're here for, is to connect those dots. So that's one of the other cool pieces, is bringing everyone together in this community.
Okay. So Heather, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
All right.
Can you take my screen?
Okay, we're going to actually move on to kind of the second part of the session here and talk about our members, talk about our corporate sponsors and friends. So Heidi, I'll hand it over to you.
I think members has been one of the funnest parts of this whole journey, and it's really, I want to take a minute to recognize that this is what we built this platform for, is these short-term rental homeowners that didn't have this resource. Everything was targeted at professional managers for the most part, and so that's why we're all here today. So we built this platform for you. I started as a short-term rental homeowner back in the early days of, I think, 2010 with some rentals in Park City, Utah. And I used to even rent out my own house when I went on vacation. So it kind of helped fund my vacation and travel, which was pretty fun. But I only advertised on VRBO. It was a very different world back then. So it's kind of been an interesting journey to working through a property manager for a while in Park City, most recently working on the technology side of the industry. But as I did, all of these homeowners needed assistance on best practices and education and access to these vendors that existed that they couldn't find. Even finding a professional property manager, there wasn't any kind of assistance or knowledge of what questions to ask. So that's really, again, why we're here. So the membership community, though, this is really my favorite part in the spotlight. So we do this every other week. We pool with our members, we do a full interview, Q&A, and spotlight them about their best practices, what their challenges are, a little bit about their properties, how many they have, how they got started, and it's just really a fun journey to read through. And we put it in our weekly newsletter that comes out on Wednesdays. So, but I just think it's a real powerful piece because it's a bit of encouragement to see that there's others out there with the same challenges, and great to connect with those people. So
Maybe Heidi, one thing I would add too is, because we're focused on the homeowner, whether they're in the investment stage, working to figure out, which home to buy, whether they're already self-managing, or they know that it's maybe time for them to find a property manager, what things are important to them. There's just some common threads, making sure you have insurance, no matter what you do with the home, is key. That you've made the right investment decisions and you understand what can be your expected return or income projections. So, regardless of where you are in one of those three buckets, there's a certain thread that's important to all homeowners, or should be, right, important to them, and they need to know. So just wanted to add that regardless of what folks choose to do is the best fit for them.
Yeah, that was definitely a big part initially when we started crafting our messaging, to ensure we were covering all aspects of the homeowner community, so that we did work with the investor-minded individual, as well as the do-it-yourselfer, and then also those that need a full-service property manager. So everybody can have a great resource or find assistance through here. And then if you want to pop on the next slide, there's some great quotes in here. One of the best ones we've all agreed on is the community outside of the Facebook model. Because when we started doing our research, I went out to Facebook and started following all the groups I could find on vacation rentals and short-term rentals. And then really quickly, my entire Facebook feed was just these groups. And so many people were asking questions that were sometimes so detailed, like how to deal with a specific guest situation or what exact type of linens to buy for their property. And a lot of times the information wasn't always the best. It was kind of hard to just be a bystander and take things in. So that's where we felt the community piece was crucial, that we could, I mean, Facebook still exists and that's wonderful, but we really want to make sure that was part of our membership community as well within Astrho.
Yeah, cutting through the clutter, helping create a more organized environment, and trusting you're dealing with a professional, professionally run, where experts are being brought in to vet answers and give expert advice. Yeah,
for sure. And that's probably one of the coolest features of the community is you can sort by topics so well to where your news feed is very much focused on a particular topic, or even finding members locally so that you can talk about advocacy challenges that might be happening in your area. So that's something you just don't quite get to that level of detail within the Facebook groups. So we really want to take a minute to focus on our corporate launch partners and members, and we couldn't be here without their support as well as our sponsors. This started as a let's bridge the gap between corporate vendors and these homeowners that need their services. And it's been overwhelming the amount of support we've received from everyone in the industry. So we really do appreciate that. We have a few we wanted to just talk about for a moment. Some of them might be able to chime in here, hopefully.
I think we have Justin. Is Justin able to be invited on screen to say a few words? Lauren, are you seeing Justin's able to connect?
I invited Justin. It says accepted and connecting. So we'll see if
awesome.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
And then those that be like Doug, be ready. We've got you in a few slides, and Arthur, Ted, and
yep. Paul.
And Paul. Paul's next. Yep, great. Do we have Justin?
Doug is ready.
Awesome.
You're wrong.
Love it.
Justin,
well, I can tell a quick story while we're seeing if we can make this work. I've been at numerous trade shows where our booth was next to Proper, and every time I would hear them talking about insurance, and I wanted to go listen so badly because these guys truly know their stuff. And they talk about things that you would never consider was an issue with insurance, especially from a liability standpoint. And the fascinating piece is the premiums really aren't very different from normal homeowners insurance. It's just wanting to make sure you have certain areas where you're covered. So they really do know exactly what they're talking about, and they're a great place to start for insurance.
One of the bed bugs one actually was something that I had a conversation with someone about, and I think that's a relatively new offering. But yeah, that there's a consideration for, this is an issue and a problem, right? That everyone may face sooner or later. So
Justin is on. Hi, Justin.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks for having us, guys. We're very excited about what you guys are doing here. It's just something that everyone has really needed for some time, so we're very grateful to be a part of it. But very similar to Astrho, Proper Insurance, our primary goal is education. We're here just to really kind of pull the veil off of a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to insurance. And we know it's really complicated, and that's why we focus specifically on short-term rental insurance. And we're here just to educate on the risks, and then safety is our secondary goal, I guess you would call it. Really, I mean, when it comes to short-term rental homes, there are a lot of risks that short-term rental owners just simply aren't aware of, because you're new in the industry. You don't look for railings or make sure that batteries aren't removed from your smoke detectors, things like that. So, on top of making sure that our insurance is very broad to cover things like bed bugs and amenity liability for golf carts and lake stocks, those types of things, we also want to make sure that you're keeping the safest home possible. And it's our belief that that's going to really ensure the longevity of the short-term rental industry, making sure that people aren't hurt. So here to answer any questions you guys have. We really just we love questions, so hit us up and we'll see what we can do for you.
Awesome. Thanks. Glad you guys were able to come in, Justin, and happy about our partnership. Really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So I think we have Paul from OwnerRez that can chime in here also. And OwnerRez is definitely, they've been around for quite some time. They're doing some amazing stuff, from a travel booking website to the ability to manage. You know what? He's here. I'll let him talk about it. He's probably way better.
Okay, great.
Yeah, hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
I can see myself, so I think that part works. Yeah, hey everybody. Apologize for my background. I'm transitioning offices, and so I'm in one of the kids' rooms. But I'm Paul. I'm the CEO and original founder of OwnerRez. Some of you know me from the forums and the help desk systems, and me and Chris. But just to echo what Amy said and Justin just said also, we really appreciate what you guys are doing, hiding the gang here. Michelle, advocacy, education for homeowners is just such an important thing, and something that's been missing for a long, long time. Those of you who use OwnerRez have heard of us know that from, the word owner being our name and how we started years ago, we are really focused on the needs of homeowners. And as we've grown over the years, I think we've really kept that focus. And so when Heidi and the gang, reached out about the launch and what you guys were doing, it just kind of jumped out of my inbox. We get a lot of contact about a lot of things, but it really just kind of jumped out to us at how necessary that is. We hang out on the Facebook groups and the pages and the places where people are spilling all their problems and looking for help, and it's a constant theme that there's really not kind of a central place for not just information but advocacy and education. So this is really a great thing you're doing, and in terms of OwnerRez, as we've grown over the years, we've had some users ask us, we see new tools for PMs, and we see kind of a side of the market that's using OwnerRez now that maybe wasn't before, and they don't want to lose kind of our homeowner roots, and we are still very much fighting on the homeowner side. Just a quick story on that. So some of you know about the channel management stuff we've done over the last couple of years, and one of the big things we did when we got into channel management a few years ago, other than just building all of our own code and trying to, kind of do it what we thought to be the right way and the clean way, and, everything with a strong engineering focus. The other thing we wanted to do is it kind of aggravated us about how all the walls that exist between the PM world and the homeowner world in that space. So in our meetings with Verbo and some of the other channels, we kept beating on that door. And we were successful about 6 months ago in piloting for HomeAway what they called a Quick Connect program. And they allowed us to pilot it and work with a number of small homeowners or starter PMs who weren't large enough typically to get into that. And over about 4 or 5 months, we got, I think, 450, 500 small homeowner individuals to get into the API world and the channel management world. Not with using third-party management or, having to kind of jump around or do something special, but be able to get that kind of direct partnership, which, really brings a lot of power to the homeowner space. Not to get into a sales pitch about what it all does, but some of it's really, what it gives you is just so powerful. So even though we don't necessarily have to be in that space, or we don't have to necessarily, focus as much on one side of the market or another, we really, over the years, have really tried to focus as much as we can on leveling the playing field, so that it doesn't matter what user you are. Every user is a power user. So anyway, I really appreciate what Astrho is doing here. Like I said, it really jumped out of the inbox to us when we saw it, and I'm really glad to be a part of it.
Thanks, Paul.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Paul.
Do we have Arthur?
Yeah, I think Arthur's going to join us from Stay By. And I know that this concept, it's fairly new. They started about 2 years ago, but they were founded by Arthur's own personal experiences and frustrations. So some of the best ideas always come from your own world and your own challenges. And one of the best features about what these guys are doing is allowing for more direct marketing campaigns, which then in turn translate into more direct bookings and repeat stays from those guests. So it's a really unique feature. It collects the guests' information, their email, their phone number, so that you have the ability to do your own marketing campaigns and build your own brand. So in fact, we'll let you tell more about that.
Hey, can you see me okay? Can you hear me? Yeah, so thanks so much for having us here. We're super excited about this launch. And I think what you guys are putting together is pretty awesome, because I know we have a lot of homeowners that use our product that need a service and community like this. And I definitely agree, Facebook groups aren't always the best way to interact with other members of the industry who are facing, similar issues. So our service really grew out of marketing work we were doing with short-term rental property managers around collecting guest information. So as I'm sure everyone on this call knows, OTAs don't share a lot of guest data with property managers or homeowners. So maybe you're able to get some information from the booker of the property, but it's definitely a challenge to get information from everyone who's staying in your homes. So we use the same proven technology that people have used in restaurants, coffee shops, airports, to collect that type of information from guests. And that would be a branded Wi-Fi splash page when you log into the internet. So it's a seamless, easy way to get your brand in front of every single guest in a property and collect that information for marketing purposes. And we see, now it's easier than ever to have a direct booking site, because just about every PMS in the world offers that as a feature. So even with 1 home or 100 homes, you can start leveraging direct bookings as part of your strategy to, grow your business.
Awesome. Yeah, I love what you're doing.
It's a great tie to the direct book conversation. And when people think about their strategy, how this would add another lever you can pull. Very cool.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for coming. So we've got, I think Ted Miller is here to chat for a minute about guest smiles. And they're really all about open communication as well between the hosts and the guest, and eliminating the middleman. So trying to drive some more revenue for hosts. And I think Lauren's trying to invite him on here real quickly. Hey, Ted, I can see ya.
Hi, it looks like, can you hear me okay?
Yep, sound great.
Okay.
Great. Well, we, as everyone else has said, we are extremely excited by what Heather and Heidi and the team are putting together. I've spent a lot of years in the vacation rental industry from the late 90s, starting from being a vacation rental manager. And the ability to have a community where you can reach out to like-minded people and ask experts, but also check out what other people have tried and what things have worked for them is really, it's really an extremely strong need, especially right now. We see the individual property owners really having, things are really starting to come together for options for them over the last couple of years, whether it's technology or stuff like what you guys are doing for education, or like with Amy with Second Home Quarterly. There's now technology that's been built specifically for the individual homeowner to help automate tasks that have been manual, bridge the gap, more revenue streams. A lot of the tools that have been available for the vacation rental manager that's now scaled really well, and having a forum like this where you can get out that information and share it between people that are actually using it. What has worked for me? What has not worked for me has been really strong. So when we first, and I was interested, I had a number of people and friends in the industry said, have you talked with Heather or Heidi? They're working on this project. I think you guys should talk with them about, because it seems to have a lot of normal stuff. And then once the email came in and we read the email, it's like, we want to be sure to help however we can to help the group be successful. Just a little quick about guest miles. We're new to the space. We've been around for a couple of years. Our goal is to provide a marketplace where individual homeowners can work directly with their guests and find new guests. When you communicate whether you want an owner confirmation or whether you want to have it real-time booking, it all depends on what the owners would like to do. And the way we drive traffic, we have no delusion of guest miles being we're not an OTA. We don't intend to be an OTA. We're working with a number of long tail websites where there'll be very specific branded, for example, it might be a branded website within, for example, the Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge area, where they have great relationships and they would just like the ability to offer vacation rentals that are in that area. So what we do is able to provide that, what we call a vertical partner, the booking technology to simply, whether they want to create a link, or if they want to consume an API, all depend upon their technical chops. It's just to be able to connect those parties together and make things easy. And the second half of what we do is our Owners Club, which is I like to think of as a toolbox. And that toolbox is a set of tools that work together to help automate, whether it's reservation software or comparing your property to key performance indicators in the area, or working with your individual cleaners or things like that. It's to try to work with other people we know within the industry to make a nice seamless set of tools for you. So that's really all I wanted to say about us. We're happy to engage anybody. And the one thing we do want to share, like everybody else has said, we have a lot of education through the School of Hard Knocks. And if we can help anybody not have to go through that same education, happy to chat with anybody about our experience, what has worked, what hasn't worked, what we've seen tried over the years, and so on and so forth. So we're really excited to be part of the community.
Thanks, Ted. Yeah, the class we have coming up, Tech Toolbox, we certainly, have you kind of in the mix there, where you're providing this set of tools that you're vetting, and then kind of saying like these all interface together. So this could be your tech stack, kind of adding that layer of support. Whereas there's, a new player every day, right? How do you want to build your tech stack? So that's an interesting offer, I think, too, as part of what you're trying to do. Yeah.
And it's also trying to help. One thing we found over the years, whether it's a professional manager or a homeowner, when you're first looking at technology, don't let it overwhelm you. Simply try to automate what you're currently doing manually. And if what you're doing manually, I always like to ask, are you managing your properties or your properties managing you? Well, if your properties are managing you, there's a good chance you can benefit from some of the tools that are available in the industry. But the key is to keep things simple when you start, because you can always do a deeper dive once you're already benefiting from the people that you're working with.
Good advice.
Thanks. Really appreciate it. I think I'll move on here. Thanks again, Ted. Doug, are you out there? I know you are. Can we hear you and see you? Lauren, are you seeing the connection being made?
It says, yep, accepted and connecting. So.
All right. Well, I've known Doug for a long time, over a decade. I'm not sure we're at 20 years, but from my hotel days and in remote parts of Canada, training agents and working with sales teams. And Doug is one of the few unique individuals in the lodging industry who has a perspective, such a broad perspective, and also deep knowledge of what works. So, Doug, are you there? Can I hand it over to you?
I am here. Thank you for the hand up. Well, thank you so much for reaching out during the launch and inviting me to say just a couple of words. I'm super excited to be part of this, I would say, historic moment. A little bit about myself. I know a lot of the providers here and supplier vendor partners know me, but I have been in this really the same space of training for 31 years. I did start very young. I always like to say that when I say 31. But I started in my 20s, and I'm doing the same thing really, but I continue to grow and expand that. I train in the lodging space, which is a very much a vertical. And within the lodging space, I train really in just a couple of topic areas as vertical, narrowing the vertical even more in the areas of guest service and then in sales. So I do a lot of work in the hotel space where we're generally working with major corporations. I guess when I first met you as well, I know Kimpton was one of them, and Pegasus Solutions when we trained the call centers up in Eastern Canada. I started and that was in the late 80s, early 90s. I started in vacation rental training in the late 90s, and I really enjoyed that space because here you got to work with really what were small business people. Now, some of these small businesses employ several hundred. You look at some of the large vacation rental companies, but relative to a hotel corporation, they were certainly small business. And many of them are, started very, very small. So I really enjoyed that because at my core, I'm an entrepreneur, and I enjoyed that very much. And I'm particularly excited about this group because now we're working with the smallest of small business people, most of which probably do this as a side gig. So I'm excited to work with them and help them get more direct bookings. You have some other excellent resources, some amazing. I love StayFi, Arthur, what you're doing. I highly advocate for that, to be able to get emails when somebody comes in through a third party that costs you a lot with commissions. You can reach out to them directly. Ted, the work you're doing as well. But what I love about the enabling model here is that you can directly connect with your guests. When I talk about things like sending video email messages to vacation rental companies, a lot of them are, the property management companies are hesitant to do that because they're like, oh my gosh, we have to send 50 on a heavy arrival day, which is kind of silly because you wonder, well, didn't you used to check them all in at a welcome center? But when you speak to somebody who owns 1, 2, 3, 5 properties, it makes a lot more sense. And many of them that I have met over the years that have reached out to me, just finding me through Google searches, enjoy that. And it's a great way to build repeat business. And if you can directly ask for referrals, one of the oldest sales techniques in the world. By the way, did you enjoy your stay? How'd it go? Did you have an excellent stay? Well, that's wonderful. Hey, can you help me get the word out? Anyone in your network, if you do something on your Facebook or your Snap or Instagram, we'd be very grateful. And then putting them in, some kind of a lead stream. You can do direct marketing, has been talked about here. Once you have through StayFi, you get the email addresses or other ways you can do that. But you can also do reach outs. If somebody booked you for a full week and a peak rate period, send them an email about a year later, about 50 weeks later. And then also we'll be talking about service excellence, service recovery. I know my first blog post for you was on the carrot model.
That's great.
And I look forward to doing some basically, webcasts free as a volunteer to the industry and your efforts to educate the industry, as well as the private coaching sessions, which will really just be one-on-ones for owners to get with me, schedule some time and talk about anything relating to sales, guest service, and, I guess targeted narrow focus marketing.
I love what you said about, it really is. So we know emotional connections drive guest satisfaction and, or delight, right? Like you're delighting the guests, and the opportunity for self-managed short-term rental operators to kind of have that surprise and delight, ridiculously personal experience on steroids is really cool. Yeah, I mean, you're just making me think more about just how big this opportunity is if you really knock it out of the park.
It really is, and and it doesn't take a lot. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Just small gestures. For example, a video email welcome. Besides a text or an email with the key code and a mid-stay check-in video email, or maybe a locally sourced amenity, something that is unique to your area. And so it doesn't have to be anything, the smallest things mean the most. That was one of my favorite slogans ever from Sheraton Hotels when it was owned by ITT Corporation years ago. The little things mean a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And smallest details sometimes can mean the most when you reach out with those gestures.
Well, thanks, Doug. We're so excited you're helping us pave the way here and supporter of Astrho. So appreciate you being here.
Be a part of
more
it.
to come. We've got
Wish you well. Good luck.
Okay, talk soon. Thanks.
Thanks.
With that, we're going to move on to kind of wrap it up here with just kind of spotlighting some other partners and supporters. Heidi, do you want to comment on this slide?
Yeah, we've had overwhelming.
I did. Sorry, I did invite Alexander on from Sync B&B, Heidi.
Oh yeah, Alex
so
chimed in.
I think he's excited.
Didn't quite get a slide, but he's chiming in from Greece, and we'll let him say a few words.
Hey, yeah, hey.
I've already finished my wine, by the way. So great meeting all you guys. Super stoked to be here. I love what you're doing. Astrho is something that was, waiting to be born for many years. And I'm very glad to be, being a launch partner of what you're doing now. And I think that it's something that, millions of homeowners around the world are going to appreciate a lot, not only in the United States, but also in other countries. I'm guessing more than 70% of homeowners around the world can speak English or communicate in English with their guests. So I think it's a very important thing. I'd like to say very quick, history of, how we got to be here. So I'm Alex. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Sync B&B. Sync B&B is a service that helps vacation rental owners increase their revenue and avoid double bookings. So it all started a few years ago when I was listing my home on 4 or 5 different channels, and I was getting double bookings. And I was trying to find a way to stop getting double bookings. And I started trying all the popular software that was available at the time, the channel managers that were available. I'm not going to name names, but I found out that most of them, at least the popular ones, had 2 problems. Problem number one, they were very complicated with hundreds of menu options and different settings, and it was a nightmare. The second problem, they were very expensive. So they had a 1,000 setup fee, and then you had to pay $100 or $200 per month. And that was too much for a homeowner with a second home. And then I tried all the solutions that were affordable. It just didn't work. And I tried to find out why they didn't work. And eventually I did find out, and we fixed that with my co-founder, Petros. And that's how Sync B&B was born. So we now have, lots of other stuff besides channel management. So you can build your own website with us. There's a booking engine. There's, loads of stuff you can use. But the core service and the core business and our core value is help you get on many channels and make sure you never get a double booking. We're the only channel manager in the world that offers a 0 double booking guarantee, which means that we guarantee you will never get a double booking while using us. And even if that happens, because once every 1,000 bookings, they might happen in the same second, what we do is we take care of it. So we relocate the second customer to the same or better place. If it's more expensive, we pay the difference. We take care of everything. So we sell peace of mind, essentially. We're very happy to be launch partners. We'd like to participate and help with content. We've been very active during the past 3 years with webinars and blogs, and we'll be very happy to share that with the Astrho members. And we also have a special offer for Astrho members. So besides the 1 month free trial that Sync B&B offers, you can also get 50% discount for the first 3 months, and that's just for Astrho members. So wish you all the best, and we're with you for the ride, and we hope you best of luck.
Thanks, Alexander. We'll edit our recording here too and try to get your slide in here. Sorry for that miss. So,
No worries. I forgot to send the slide in time, so that's on me.
But I know we're right at time. So Heidi, do you want to wrap us up here? Any comments on this last slide?
Yeah, just want to point out, a lot of these vendors started their products aimed at more property management companies, and then they've kind of gradually transitioned into offering a product to rental by owners as well. So hosts and members of Astrho can take advantage of their services and really manage their rental more like a professional would, but still retain all that control. So it's really kind of amazing how many vendors are out there that offer these great services. So thanks for everybody for participating, everyone that's supporting us. We do really appreciate it. And then
I just wanted to comment on this last slide, or this kind of one more area. So these are partners, friends, and thought leaders. And so we're in conversations with these other national associations in the lodging industry, working to find, synergies. We also have working with a professor at Penn State who's providing us with an intern. And that professor is also working towards doing a formal research paper, which is kind of the first in the industry, which is really exciting. We also are in conversations with professors at Cornell to see if there's opportunity there. We're really getting attention now in our industry from the academic world. There's also many local associations and not-for-profits focused on local regulatory. So we've just highlighted a few here, Nashville and Portland, and we have had conversations with them. We'll continue to talk to them and figure out how we can support them and work together. And then obviously on the advocacy, thought leadership, and media side, you heard from Amy on Second Home, also Heather Bayer, as a veteran in the space and has this great podcast, Vacation Rental Success, another place to get information. Rent Responsibly and Dirk Johnson, we also wanted to call out, have been great supporters as far as housekeeping and then advocacy with Rent Responsibly. And then lastly, Heidi, you want to quickly say, we just wanted to show the group this quick overview of the Don't Miss events and how easy it is to join.
Yeah, we've got a lot of great events coming up, some wonderful opportunities to interact with our experts through our Q&A webinars that are coming up over the next few months. Each month, we're focusing in on a different topic. One, I think for September, it's revenue management strategies. October is more distribution and connectivity, or it could be insurance and safety. I don't have that in front of me at the moment, I apologize. But excited to have all of this great content coming up and all of these fun events.
And with that, please stay connected. We're available in social to chat with you. Obviously, sign up for our newsletter and to really engage with the experts and have that after hours dialogue and to really be a part of the community. Join and become a member to be an insider. And with that, thank you for joining. Sorry, went a few minutes over. I'm glad we got a chance to let everybody speak and be heard. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
We're excited to be launched. Thanks, everyone. Bye now.